1, 2, 3, sync, and here we go. Anyone podcast, episode 5-ish. The order is getting a little messed up here, but here today with Ariel from last week's episode, who famously the birthday boy.
Yes.
Ariel, the birthday boy. It's like his superhero name on the show, and I'm also here with Juan Espinosa, who writes this comic Adventures of a System Admin. Really, really cool stuff. How you guys doing today? Doing all right?
Good.
How's have you recovered from your birthday yet, Ariel?
Oh yeah. I was pretty good. I wasn't that bad. That was the most accelerated was the podcast.
Yeah.
After that, I just sobered up upstairs, and then I went home.
The after party.
Yeah, no, after party.
You were here late that day though too. Because I was here editing that episode, or no, I think I was editing the episode from the day from that I recorded earlier. But anyways, I was like, I went upstairs and left, and I was like, where'd Ariel go? And he was like, he went get pizza. He's coming back, and I was like, oh, well, tell him I said bye. I guess I got to go home.
Yeah,
like,
I came back. You were gone.
I've been here all day. Like I'm trying to get out of here. If anything, Ariel's trying to hang out. But
because I was definitely drunk after the podcast.
Yeah. No, it was a long episode, and it was a very successful one. I was happy with it. And Juan is also, aside from being a writer, a pretty big fan of the show because you watch like every episode.
Yeah.
He likes him on Facebook. So I'm very happy to have him on because it's nice to see a supporter in person.
Yeah, yes.
It hasn't happened yet. I'm waiting for the day where I could stop on Subway and be like, hey, aren't you that guy from that podcast? Like,
Eventually.
yeah, and then I'd be like, no, you're probably thinking of someone else. Probably thinking of a good podcast. No,
I will have done the same with Ariel if I see him outside.
Yeah.
Right?
That will explain to the audience here that Juan recognized. I told Juan that Ariel was going to be on the show. He was like, "Oh, cool, Ariel, yeah." And I was like, "Oh, nice. Do you guys know each other and stuff?" Because I just learned they're both Dominican from a similar part of town. And then he was like, "No, he was on the show last week. Of course I know him." Like,
I'm getting more recognition.
I was like,
finally.
What? Ariel's the most famous person on the show right now.
I'm trying.
How's fighting off the paparazzi?
Oh man, paparazzi! Yeah, all those panties flying.
They corner you,
and the jock straps.
Yeah,
man, gotta fight those things off.
It's true, man. Well, so we're looking at a very post Comic-Con. I haven't been on the show, or I haven't talked on the show since I went to Comic-Con. You went for your first time this year.
Yes, first time ever.
We got to get this guy on the boat because
I haven't been. I said that last time, but
awesome.
Never been there.
Planning to go next year.
I tried, but it's like they seem to like make weird rules every year. Like this year was people on a list got it early.
Yeah, I don't know why they have it so like strict. Yeah. When I first applied, because it's the first time, so you have to like apply a certain date. I was coming from Canada down to my house, the Bronx, right?
Right.
I had to stop somewhere so I can do the thing because they told me that it sold out very quickly usually. So I gotta stop somewhere, I don't know, in the middle of the country so I can do my thing in myself and then register to buy the tickets. I'm like, why do we have to do this?
I didn't have that much trouble, but I also bought my tickets very last minute. I just bought them online, got will call, went to the Javits Center the day before, picked them up, and then
What?
Yeah. It was pretty cool because I thought it was gonna be a pain to have to go up to the Javits Center because it's like really hard to get to. Like I mean it's not hard. You just walk a lot because I take the. I'm in like Prospect Heights, Clinton Hill area, so I just take the C all the way up to Penn Station and then walk over from there. So it's maybe a 15-20 minute walk from Penn Station, but it's like it was insane going on Wednesday before just to pick up my ticket because everybody was setting up and it was like kind of mayhem, but also like you could kind of see it coming together. Like I was like, man, these guys are working hard to put this event on. Like, and they really do. Like in general, I agree. There's some stuff with the website and stuff because the first time I bought tickets, I also had some problems. And there's like weird rules, the regulation stuff, but like everybody who puts on that show does a hell of a job. I think. I think they do a really, really good job. But you gotta go next year. You gotta go, man.
Trying, man, it just never works out either.
It's
money
true.
Or the tickets are gone or
well, the thing is,
weird rules.
We were talking about this too. Is that you don't only need money for the ticket? That's a huge misconception.
Yeah.
You need to walk in there with at least $100, $150 to spend because it's for your own good because you're gonna want to buy everything. Like I went and got cash out before I went. I was like, this is my limit because I'd been once before and I was like, I know I'm just gonna want everything. Like, you want books, you want merch, like food, beer, like it's all super expensive, and I mean, it depends. Like I went mainly to promote the podcast, and so I spent a lot of time in the artist alley and like talking to a lot of local artists and stuff.
Oh, what
and handing out cards and like picking up their books and stuff like that. And so those are $4 or $5 a book, so that's not terrible. But like once you hit like the merch section, or I'm really into like my vintage video games, so like I was hitting those stalls really hard. I was like trying to wean myself off of like
trying to find a Battletoads or something.
Yeah, I almost walked home with like a Sega Master System in my hands. Like
yeah, but you got a point. You gotta come with money, but you gotta put a limit. Because if you don't, then you're gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's
you really do.
There's a lot of stuff.
It's really expensive. Yeah, I mean, it's expensive. It's fun. I do think it's a good opportunity to do some shopping, especially for yourself, because there's a lot of like limited edition stuff there. Like it's like there's a lot of stuff you can only get at Comic-Con, and I think my favorite buy this year was I got a Guinness glass. My wife's Irish and I love Guinness, so I got a Guinness glass, but it's Alec Guinness's face, and it's like the Guinness logo, and he's like dressed up like Obi-Wan and stuff on it, and I absolutely love it. It's like such a cool thing, and I have no idea why I've never seen this before, but they were like, oh yeah, we're selling them this year, and of course, like it's a fucking glass, but they charge like $20 a glass, you know what I mean? Like, so it's...
Of course, because it's Comic-Con.
Right, exactly, and it is kind of like a collector's thing. That's cool. I can appreciate that for sure, but... You definitely got to go with money, but next year, hopefully, you'll have your own table there, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I was invited this year, but I was hesitant because I'm a new guy around the block, right?
Oh my God, you got invited? That's something at least.
Yeah, and I didn't have much material. That's the thing, because I paid for everything, so I didn't have much material. I'm not gonna go with 20 books to New York Comic Con.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
So I just decided just to go check it out, but. Eventually, if there's
I think that's I think that's really smart. Like that you went and checked out, like got a lay of the land, and like you're gonna go back next year because like there is kind of a sell that a lot of local artists have to do there. Like you kind of get stopped while you're walking around, and they're like, "Hey, can I tell you about my book?"
Yeah.
And you see the pictures of his book in the background, and you're like, "I don't know if I want this guy talking to me about his book," or you're like, "Yeah, for sure. Like let's hear it." And it's hard, I think, for those guys too because. At the end of the day, they're trying to sell you a book, you know? And most of the time, like, I'm kind of a pushover when it comes to that. So I'm like, sure, $3, I'll buy your first issue, you know, whatever. But, like, that adds for the up, cause, too, you know?
For the culture.
And also, the thing was because I was there to promote the podcast, I also felt like I couldn't really be like, oh, I'm not going to buy your book. Come on my show, though. Like,
oh, no, you can't do that. You know, that's definitely going to be like...
it'd be too... Like, that's... Too much like social fouls being played
like,
there.
I'll buy your book. Here's my podcast.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I did for a lot of people, and it would have worked out. And like, what's cool about Comic-Con too is I think there's a lot of misconceptions about people who aren't into comics going to Comic-Con. Like, it's undoubtedly a good time. Like, even if I didn't read comics, I would love Comic-Con. Like, there's so much to do. If you like, there's a lot of video game stuff and a lot of video game demos, which is awesome. I got to play a little Mega Man 11 while I was there, and it's awesome. Like, it was so much fun. But like, you know, you can walk around with beers for one around this crazy convention center. Like, you can meet people that you wouldn't expect to meet. Like, I talked to one of like the early designers that used to draw The Simpsons, and I can't remember his name, so I look like a jackass now. But I was talking to him for a second, like in line, like to meet someone or like buy something, and he was just there, and like we chatted for a second, and he was like, oh yeah, like I used to draw for The Simpsons. I was like, what?
Simpsons?
He was like, yeah, I got a booth over here. Like, you should come check it out. And he was doing like for like $100, you could get like a really nice like portrait done of you in like Simpson style and stuff.
Nice.
Which that's almost where my $100 went right there. I almost blew it all right there because I was like, oh, Simpson.
I know like 20 people that would have done that.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, yeah, and it's like, and so there's, I don't know. I think no matter who you are, you can have a really good time. Maybe you saw this too, Juan. Did you see a lot of like people with newborn babies walking around?
Oh, newborns?
A lot.
Very
small babies.
I told my wife, you see, I'm coming with my 2 kids, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
Because you gotta...
How old are your kids?
Even 4 and 2.
Okay. Wow, so you're
and
the 4 and the 2.
And you came in with a newborn too.
But no, my 1 year son, he can walk, he can do everything by himself.
Right.
But man, this guy was
these are
very, very like this tiny. I'm
like they just gave birth yesterday. Like
Yeah.
I'm not missing Comic-Con.
Yeah, they were like, oh man, glad that's done. Let's go line up. Like,
yeah, I'm like, wow.
Take your scrubs off, first of all.
Dress the baby like Pikachu.
Yeah. No, and I think it's first of all, I think it's great. Like, with someday when my wife and I have kids, like, I can't wait to take my kid to Comic-Con. I think that's gonna be like one of the coolest things because like I can't imagine what it's like going there with a 4-year-old, where the 4-year-old just like what? Yeah. Like, look at everything. Like, this is amazing. This is the greatest day of my life. Like, it's like Disney or something, you know, for half the price.
She wanna do everything. She wanna see everything. I'm like,
yeah.
It was tiring, but it was good. It was good. We have fun.
It's true. No, and it's one of my favorite things to see is like a father and son cosplay or something like that. That's like very fulfilling. Like, warms your heart a little bit.
I'll definitely be doing that with my kid if ever have one. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, you're gonna cosplay.
That's the plan.
Man, what would be your first cosplay?
Batman Robin. Oh, I mean, with my kid or just by myself?
Are you Batman and Robin in that scenario?
No, you mean by myself, or you mean like if I have a kid?
With your kid is Batman.
But if I have son, Batman and Robin.
That's pretty good, I guess. I think I would go Han Solo and Chewbacca because he'd look really cute, like a little.
Oh yeah, that would be dope.
Yeah, I think that's.
I don't know.
I mean, you can go like Thundercats.
We have done Batman. Well, no, we did Batman, Superman. That's the other way, so that's not. Nice. Yeah, we did Batman and Superman. Batman and Superman.
That's why that movie was so bad, because there was a 4-year-old playing Superman. And some guy with the camcorder was like, well, made by Zack Snyder.
Oh, yeah.
Batman vs. Superman. Might as well have been. That movie was really bad. But
yeah, it was.
But yeah, man, I don't know. So, Adventures of a System Administrator, we might as well do a quick little plug here for your book. Sure. It's we were talking about this about the show or right before we started recording, and a huge pull that I had towards this book was like it's a comic about a system administrator. Like, he's not a superhero, he doesn't have any sort of like divine purpose or anything. He just loves system administration. He's an IT guy, and that's like so cool to me that you chose to like focus on like sort of the more of like the mundane and like the more or like sort of like drawing light to the mundane and drawing light towards normal life. And I don't know, we talked about this before, so it feels weird repeating this conversation, but talk to us about how you got started writing this book.
So my first thing that I did was I want to have myself as a cartoon, right? Yeah. So I just went online. I was following this group. It's called Hacker Strip. So
they're on Facebook, right?
Yeah, they have Facebook, Twitter. Everything.
Yeah, okay.
So they make comics, right, for like hacking stuff. So I asked the guy, can you make myself as a cartoon? He said, sure. So we did this one.
Yeah.
Only this one, right?
Yeah,
so
we'll show it to the camera here. And also all of your stuff will be linked in the description. So if you need to find Juan's stuff, we'll definitely make sure it's accessible through the link. But yeah, and it does look just like you, honestly. It's a pretty good comic book reflection of yourself. And
then I went to Kids Comic Con, and I bought a book called The Art of Making a Comic Book, right? Mm-hmm. From Alex Simmons. So Alex Simmons is a writer. He has written Batman, Scooby-Doo, a bunch of stuff. So I read the book. I'm like, I already got a character. This is telling me how to make a comic. Let's create a comic. Right. So I started writing and created my first comic, which is this one. I just created it just to say I created a comic book. Yeah. But then I saw that people kind of liked it, and I started my second one, my third one. That's awesome. So and the third one's coming out January, right? Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. We were talking about this earlier, because we actually talked about this when you were on the show about like getting into comics, like how people get into comics. Yeah. And I want to say you only got into comics like 2 years ago. Like, you started reading like after I actually wrote my first one. I decided that I needed to get involved, like check how people do their comments and stuff like that. Yeah. So I started reading about That's what got you into it. So you started late in the comic book world. Yeah. Wow. But it shows, I think it's proof that you can do it. Like, you see a lot of people that like want to get into comics, like they watch the Marvel movies or whatever, but they just they don't see a way in ever, because it's like, I want to start with issue 1 of Iron Man. It's like, you're going back 40 years, dude. And that was my issue, you understand? So I'm like, I have this thing, I'm organized. So I wanted to start at 1, but then it's like 800, 700 issues. I'm like, I'm never going to catch up. Yeah. So then I came actually here, Anyone's Comics, so I talked to Demetrius, and he explained me the different timelines and stuff. I'm like, okay, so I'm starting from this one then. Yeah. And I will say, that's what I think
Demetrius. I'm not gonna suck his dick too much here, but I think Demetrius is insanely good at that.
Yeah,
I think he's very good at identifying what people are interested in and then pointing them down pathways, which is what people need. Who are getting into comics. And it's great that it's weird and great that comics are like cool again. Like it's like because like early 2000s was like the down for everybody.
Oh, man, try the late 90s, man. I was a closet.
Well, I was
comic
4
nerd.
in the late 90s, so.
You're a baby. Sorry, I'm the oldest one here.
I can pretty much do whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm the oldest one here. Yeah.
Okay.
So in the late 90s, where I started collecting comics, it was very like super nerdy. You don't talk about it unless nerdy friends, and so I kept it like very down low.
It's it was a very cliched existence, I imagine.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is the guy who reads a comic book. Like, look at him.
Yeah, it was definitely
nerd.
Yep.
But now it's like everybody reads comics.
It wasn't until I wouldn't even say Blade, because Blade was a very unknown character.
That's true, but Blade was always cool though, right? Like
the Blade movies. Wait, the first 1 and 2 were amazing. 3 was
Yeah.
But like when it first came out, I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is Marvel. And then the thought that it was a Marvel thing just kind of slipped everybody's mind. It was just a cool movie. It wasn't until Spider-Man, I'd say.
Oh, just Toby Spider-Man.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I say when that came out is when the nerd uprising started.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. Also, the video game for that movie was fantastic. And most of the time, I'm really against video games and the movies, but that's a really good Spider-Man video game. I know the new one's out, and I haven't played it yet.
Amazing!
Yeah, you like it?
Yes.
Well, see, I've with my video game interests, I've reverted. I've gone to the past now. I own an NES, an SNES, and an Atari 2600, and that's all I play all the time, man. I don't really. I have a 360. I was a big Halo person growing up, so I'm really into Halo. I think Halo Infinity might get me back into the contemporary console game. But Tetris NES is my favorite video game of all time. I can play it for hours. I love Tetris. It drives my wife crazy because my wife's brother is a rugby player. Her father's super into sports, and I think I can see the anger and sadness in her eyes when I'm watching professional pro Tetris NES players online, watching streams.
Tetris players?
Yeah, dude, the Tetris scene is big actually, and so I'm always oh man, look at that stack, oh Jesus, and she's like, who are you right now? What is happening? It's I actually enjoy sports too, but that's my go-to source of entertainment. So I'm really into Tetris. But I don't know. I enjoy video games in general. I just think back then, it was also new and revolutionary, and tapping into the old Atari and how much it meant back then, I think is so interesting. Mm-hmm. And then I invested in a pretty good setup. I have a 1971 Panasonic CRT TV that I play on and stuff, so the colors look amazing from these old consoles, and yeah, it's pretty exciting, man. Pretty exciting.
I have no idea. You started naming numbers and letters for the TV.
1971, Ariel, it's a year.
What?
You were probably alive then, maybe. I don't know.
No, that wasn't even a thought. But hold up, you got one of those old tube TVs?
Yeah.
Where you have to
Oh yeah, it's got the dials on it and stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got flashbacks to my grandma's house right now.
Yeah, dude. It's small. It's a small portable one. It's got this really dinky handle, wood paneling handle and stuff, so I can carry it around if I wanted to. But yeah, it's set up in my living room right now, and that's what I go to for video games. I don't know.
How big is it?
Oh, it's small. It's maybe. It's a perfect square, so it's maybe a foot by a foot. It's tiny. Maybe 1.5
super
feet.
tiny.
Yeah, maybe a foot and a half. Yeah, but it's really small. But the thing is, what people don't realize is all these old consoles look really bad on HD TVs. They make them look like crap.
8-bit on a HD TV.
It's terrible. And I had a Tetris set up like that, and it looks like the colors look awful. But as soon as I bought that CRT TV, CRT technology, they're compatible. People don't get that. It's but HD's better quality. It's no, that's not what that means. What it is, it has to fit the format of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Those, and so as soon as I put in Tetris on this old Panasonic and it fizzled and came to life and the neon hit me, I was this is amazing.
Standard def
so
from
cool.
From that around that time, the 80s and 70s on a HD TV is.
No, it looks really bad, and it's and don't even get me started on the Atari plugged into an HD TV. It looks awful, and like the speakers like blow out every time a noise is made. And
it's bad.
It's wild. But yeah, I don't know. I hope I want to play. I think I do want to play Spider-Man at some point.
Oh, you're gonna have a blast playing.
I've heard nothing but good things. Have you played it?
Nope.
New Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
And I heard is good, but they were complaining that it's too short. I don't know, is that true or not?
Kind
It's
of
open
yes
world,
and
though,
no.
right?
Like
Is it
if
open
you
world?
just play the story mode, it is short.
Okay.
But if you do everything, I mean everything, all the side missions, all the little Easter eggs, and this and that and the other, yeah, it'll take you a few days.
Yeah, it's expensive.
But
How is the gameplay after you finish the game?
the gameplay, the repetitive gameplay,
Yeah.
non-existent. There's no game plus for now. I've heard that they're going to make.
Well, it is
game
recent.
plus.
They could. I assume there's.
Yeah,
there's got to be
because-
some DLC or something.
Yeah, they've already announced it. October, November, December.
Is that true? Oh man,
3
I'm
free DLCs for the game.
behind on my news.
And one thing that I heard was, this is so messed up. I think it was a YouTuber. I don't remember his name. Apparently, he got in contact with Insomniac, who made the game, and he wanted to propose to his girlfriend.
Oh, I heard about this. Yes.
Yes. So there's like a movie theater in New York City in the game. You know the awning, what do you call it? I think it's called the awning or the.
There's a specific name for it, but awning is the best I got.
You know
right now.
where they put up in letters what movies.
The
are
Mylar,
showing.
Mylar, maybe.
But yeah, and in it says, whatever the girl's name, his girlfriend, will you marry me? So his plan was to buy the game, play it, go to that spot in the game with her there and then propose. 3 months before the game comes out, she leaves him.
Yeah, breaks up with him.
That's not even the worst part. She leaves him for his brother.
Oh god.
Yeah, and she said, what'd she say? She said something like, I didn't want to be proposed to like that anyways. It's like, oh, like you bitch.
Oh,
like,
Yo, you on.
That is-
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Like he went big. He made this
Yeah.
shit global
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't break up with him, you were still together.
Yeah, it's like timeless
What
to an
the
extent too.
fuck?
Like, that's insane.
That's
No.
cold. Yeah.
People
It's a-
went out of the way to back this guy
Yeah.
to put it into I don't know how I'm guessing $multi-million game to make.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Because the
Because
way
it's
it
been
looks-
talked about for a long time.
Yeah.
It was been talked about for at least, I think, 2 E3s ago. They first announced it or started talking about it, and then now finally.
Because I realized what the game looked when they first showed it to now is exactly the same. Because I hate it when like in E3 premieres they always run it on PC.
Yeah.
So always looks better than it actually is on the console.
Yeah.
Because the PC is more powerful, can do a lot more stuff, you can customize it. So like exactly what, for example, Division. When Division first showed up in E3, it was the most beautiful thing I saw at the time. I fell in love. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And
you
then
know
when
what
it
happened
came
to it?
out-
I don't even know what Division is, so that says what happened to
Oh
it.
man, I'm gonna let you borrow it.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
I
wait a
don't,
minute,
not
I don't
after
even
that
think you got a
sell.
PS4. It was a good game still, but it was kind of like
What was it graphically? Like it wasn't.
Graphically, yeah.
The visuals were lacking. That
Yeah.
happens from time to time,
Yeah.
man. I mean, I don't know. It's hard, but because I feel like in video games now, it's like they have to promise so much. Like they have to be like, it's open world, and you can do this, this, and that. You can do all these things, and then like, and it's released in 2 weeks, and like all the developers are like, what are you saying? Like, no, it's not. We've got 10 more years on this project, and then they, and they throw it together, and sometimes it's a mess, and sometimes it's okay. But I think, that's why I think I enjoy older video games, because it was never about the graphics or the visuals, because it's all about the mechanics. Like, that's the key feature, is like what you can do and what mechanics can be incorporated. And I feel like that's, because that, to me, like, video games now, I think a lot of people would consider sort of an art form, and I think they should be considered an art form.
Yeah, they are.
But back then, you see more of a connection to like engineering and sort of just like what is possible to do. And I think that's interesting in itself.
Yeah, it was something that went to the Supreme Court. I forgot what game it was, or a video game, or I don't remember the whole details, but it went all the way to the Supreme Court.
Oh man.
Yeah, and it was protected under an expression of art.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like I said, I don't remember all the whole details, but we won the case. Like it was trying to kind of like a censorship kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, don't censor me because this is my form of art. This is what I'm putting out. This is my expression.
No, it's totally a medium of art. I think. I mean, if you look at movies and you were like, oh, what if I could interact with that? That's essentially like the basis of what a video game is, and so it's. And that's even, those are merging now with VR and stuff. There's now like VR TV series and stuff that you can watch and look around, which I don't know. I can't get behind the VR thing too much.
Still not.
Freaks me out a little bit.
Oh, that's a trip. I tried it once.
I tried it once. I tried it at Comic-Con in 2014, and it was like right when it was starting to like come out and be popular, and it was like, it freaks me out because it was like, this guy like had me put on the headset and like look around, and then like I sort of like didn't get. I was like, oh cool, I can look around, and I was able to comprehend that. But then he was like, oh no, like start moving around and stuff, and it was like, what is happening? Like the mechanics are insane, and it's like it's a little too freaky for me. I don't know. I feel almost like I felt like claustrophobic a little bit, and like what is happening? Like I don't want to live here. Like I don't want to be in this world anymore.
Yeah, I'm still not into that.
Yeah.
I'm in the technology field, but that.
No,
VR's freaky, man.
Like the first
VR,
time
AI, you put those things together.
AI, that's a whole.
It's the Matrix.
Yes, it is. But the first time I experienced, I went to a GameStop.
Okay.
And they had like a demo that people from PlayStation or Sony or something that they had like a little demonstration. So whatever, fuck it. I put it on. It was the most amazing thing. It was trippy, especially when you're in a car.
You did like a simulator.
Yeah, it was kind of like a car, like on the rails. So you just reacted to what was around you, and then when you're done, you're kind of still expecting to be moving.
Yeah.
And when you take off the goggles, so you kind of like, it's surreal. It's really weird.
Yeah. Really
I like it.
Manipulates your sight a lot. I think. I don't know. It's hard for me to get behind. It's a little too weird. I can't see myself having like an enjoyable like video gaming experience while wearing like a headset like that, being like stuck in it, But I don't know, man. It's what it is. So I guess there's no VR in the future of Adventures of a System Admin. He's not
you never know.
He tries VR once.
He's definitely in training already in certain places, like in EMS. You take an EVOC. It's pretty much like self-defensive driving, kind of with the ambulance, and they have a kind of like a virtual kind of cockpit. So it's a makeshift kind of the front of the ambulance, and has like virtual reality screens, and it was trippy at first. I remember when I first got into it because you're driving, so it gives you like certain simulations as to what you need to do in certain situations.
Right.
So like
But that's not like on an arcade stuff like that. You got your seat and.
No, it's like real. Like you open the door, it looks like the real. It's like they cut out a piece of a real ambulance. They put it inside of a room. And then you have the chair, you have the steering wheel, you have the dashboard, you have everything. Even the little computer console where you get you receive your jobs from. And then you're like surrounded by screens.
Okay. Right.
It's kind of like PS2 graphics, but it was still good. And then they have like a little city that you drive in. Like, okay, this situation, this is where you're going.
Is that true? That's insane. Where's this facility at? Where's
this? It's at Fort Taunton. It's a military base.
Oh, okay.
In Queens. Right between the Thron's Neck and the Whitestone.
Okay. Man, that's insane.
Yeah, that's where the EMS Academy is, and it's you go through that training. You go through.
How long is that process?
The academy, 3 months.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so you go.
Do you stay
through
on
that
site? Do they have like bunks and stuff for you?
No.
I was like, well, this is crazy to me. Like, where's this comic book?
Depending on the instructors, they either have you park. There's like a little parking lot at the bottom of the base, right before the entrance. Right. Either park there, or they have you park up all the way at the top, where you're right next to the building where you go to class. So, I remember when I went, everyone parked at the front of the base, and everybody had to walk up.
Yeah.
I remember one time it was raining so bad, and I'm just there with my uniform jacket, just getting drenched. And then someone from the base just pulled over. He was like, "Get in." I was like, you have to be respectful. You can't take any handouts. They're like, "No, sir, no, thank you very much, sir." It's like, "Get in the bus." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And he was kind. He just drove me up all the way back up to the building. I was like, "Oh, thank God." Even then, I was just drenched.
That's insane.
I sat down and it was like, I'm like, shh.
That's crazy, man. What's your craziest ambulance story? Are you allowed to talk about that on the internet?
Oh.
If you keep everybody involved anonymous.
No, I'm not trying to break any HIPAA laws. No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. No ambulance crazy stories. We'll check the laws for next time you're on, and we'll see if we
double check on the laws, and I'll let you know what I can tell you.
Yeah, there you go. That's crazy though, man. I can't imagine doing that every day. It's gonna be a wild job.
It's definitely
Are you?
definitely.
How does it work? Are you on call right now?
No, it's not like
it's
not like
doctors.
doctors. No. But there is overtime. They'll definitely call people up like this, and we have a spot open. Can you come in? Can you come in?
All right.
So they'll definitely do that.
Yeah, but that's typical of a job. Like working at a coffee shop, and I get a text from my boss like, "Hey, can you cover the shift tomorrow?" That's different than being on call. Like you have to be here now, emergency.
I'm on call basically. So that's even though I'm not at work.
Right.
So if something happens, then
I gotta rush down there.
yeah.
It's true.
Or just remote. Usually it's remote, so you don't have to go physically.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you just gotta Matrix style.
I
I
always carry my laptop. That's my
Stop
accessory.
those cyber terrorism. Not today, ISIS.
Hopefully nothing of that happens.
Yeah, right.
Firewall level 20. No.
Speaking of,
I don't know how computers work. Really, I have no idea.
Yeah. Speaking of though, after our conversation last week, I started watching Mr. Robot.
Oh,
do you watch Mr. Robot?
Oh, of course.
It's like your life, right? Is
the
that you? Or are you
best
Mr.
show.
Robot? It's really good. It's really good. I'm on
Yeah.
season 2 already. Like I've been.
Unfortunately,
Season
it's
2?
gonna end next year. That's it.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Because what happened was, I never finished season 1.
You never finished season 1?
No, because this is what happened. I was watching the season 1. It was still an amazing show. And then the last episode of the season, they delayed it. Because
the ISIS thing, yeah?
No, it was like a newscaster was shot on live television, I think it was.
No, I think it was the ISIS thing. I think it was the guy's his head got chopped off on television, right?
I don't know.
Well, let's not
because
talk
I
about
remember
ISIS.
that real life event resembled a scene
something in the show.
In the show, so they delayed it.
Yeah.
And then the following week they were going to premiere it. Unluckily for me, the following week I had to move.
Oh, so it was
so I never got to see it.
Unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah, so I didn't want to start the next season without seeing that.
That is like, you know, people always say, oh, when they put like IT stuff in movie stuff, oh, that's fake and stuff. This you can relate, like that's the real stuff.
Yeah.
That they use, that they type and all that stuff.
No, it's so good. I think, like the main character, Rami Malek's character, is so like my favorite part of the show is him like working on a computer and like sort of just like filming that and from like a filming standpoint, like hacking and stuff, and like that being interesting on screen because it kind of sounds like it wouldn't be, but it really is, and they really do a good job of making that interesting. And I don't know, the cast is really good altogether. He's phenomenal.
Yes.
Christian Slater's really great.
And then he's also going to be he's playing Freddie Mercury.
He is Freddie Mercury. That's
yes.
right. I'm worried about that project though, because that director got fired during filming, and him,
really?
Yeah, him and Rami Malek didn't get along and stuff,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I hope it does well. I love Queen obviously, but I don't know. I'm skeptical a little bit because everybody's building it up to be like this huge thing. Like, it's gonna be like, oh, it's the Freddie Mercury story, like in a movie. Like here it is. I don't know. I'm a little worried that they might mess it up a little bit. Yeah, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm excited. I love him though. Rami Malek's great. He came into the Angelica back when I was working at the Angelica once for a film called Buster's Malheart, and he's everybody by all accounts he was a really nice guy. And seems like a pretty swell dude, which is great to see. It's like when I worked there, we dealt with a lot of celebrities, and I won't talk shit about anybody obviously, but they're just people who are very, very respectful and very people who can be really rude and condescending, like and I think it's always refreshing to have like someone in who you admire or who's famous and they treat you with respect. It's just like a really nice feeling. It's like, oh, thank you. Like I'm also a person. Like
that's my fear of like meeting someone that I like. Put someone that I put on a pedestal, and then when you meet them, it's just like a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
Just like, why did I even? You question yourself after that bad interaction.
But you gotta understand, maybe that day.
Yeah, that does
So that's
happen.
why
Yeah.
I usually, when I see people I follow in the TVs or even players. Like I'm a sport fan.
Right.
And when I see them in the street, I don't go to them. I feel
Yeah.
that's their.
Oh,
they are regular people. They are the
Right. I don't necessarily either, but this back when I worked there, this was also a work thing. Like we would put on like talkbacks and Q&As after their films would premiere, and so like they would sit back and do talkbacks. So like we had to work with them in order like mics and setting up chairs and like sort of doing this thing. This is how much time you have, whatever. Like there had to be some interaction there and stuff. And so just for someone to make it as easy as possible and sort of not be a diva about it, for lack of a better word, is nice. Like I'm trying to think of a particular example, like Guillermo del Toro, who made Shape of Water. I actually wasn't working there during that time, but from my old buddies who worked there, by all accounts, he was like nothing but really nice and courteous and like asked questions even. He's like, "Oh man, it's so cool you work here. Like what's this like? What's that like?" Like this guy who's like a famous director. He's been a famous director for a long time. He just won an Oscar.
Yeah,
like,
for The Shape of Water, falling in love with a fish person.
He's like, yeah, exactly. But like, it's just cool that this guy who is like, career-wise, like so far above you, just like show you like some respect, and not only that, but just like talk to you like a person and like be friendly and like courteous and like I don't know, it's something you always got to remind yourself of. I feel like where it's like, what? No, it's like we're all people. We should all just get along. Like you got to be nice in the situation, regardless of the circumstances, and just when someone remembers that, it's cool. And he seems like a very thankful dude for where he is in his life.
I am definitely going to try, since I'm getting more famous now. But not. But
I know, exactly.
Like if you
Ariel
said,
is so
me in the
different.
street and said hi, I'm like, hey, what's up? How you doing?
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to be that person where it's like, I met that guy. He was a total fucking.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Last time you were on the episode, you were so down to earth, and now that your episode went online, you come back.
No.
Hotshot celebrity Ariel.
Now he's asking for a star.
Yeah. He walked in here with sunglasses on.
Well, these
it's
are
58
transitional.
and cloudy.
They're not sunglasses. They're transitional. Okay.
My optometrist said I gotta wear them, man. I'm sorry. I don't know.
My eyes are sensitive to light.
I wasn't trying to lord over you, man. No, that's funny, man. Yeah, I don't know. That's another thing I like about Comic-Con a lot is most of the time, like artists and people who are there to promote whatever they have are usually like very, very nice and opening and stuff. Like I was telling Juan that I met Yoshi Ono, who is the producer on the latest Street Fighter game, or Street Fighter 5. Yeah, and so I got to meet him briefly because I was at a video game tent. I picked up Street Fighter 2 for my SNES, and he tapped me on the shoulder and gave me a fist bump. And it was like a really awesome moment, and I didn't get a chance to ask him for an autograph. I really wish I would have had him sign my Street Fighter 2 or something like that. But it was like this very, very cool thing to have happen, and I was just like, oh man, that's awesome. And like it was just cool to see that Yoshi Ono went to Comic-Con and is going to video game booths, like trying to pick up games he doesn't have. Like that's awesome,
Amazing.
Yeah, it was so sick. Like for to see like a developer like out there, like he's like a dude who genuinely loves video games and is like,
oh man, I would have had a ball.
Yeah, it's true. I did not get a chance to get an autograph from him, unfortunately. But I was telling Juan because this like he was doing a signing with this booth that like sold skateboards and like skatewear and stuff, but they had like some kind of thing with Capcom going on that where they like put like Ryu's face on the bottom of the deck or whatever. And it was cool, but like I don't really skateboard. I don't really need a skateboard or anything, and like I feel like even if I did skateboard, I wouldn't want like one of these limited edition skateboards to actually skate with. I feel like it's something you like hang on your wall or something.
Yeah. Well, for me, I would buy two.
Yeah.
To one, put it on the wall, to one to actually use.
Yeah.
This way, when I'm skating with my friends, they're like, look what I got.
When you bust that one in half, you just peel the next one off the wall. But no, like he was doing it with them, and then like they were trying to get me to buy a board in order to get an autograph from him, and I was like, I forget it. Like I'm gonna drop $60 right now on this. Like
you gotta buy the board, then you gotta pay for the autograph.
No, I think buying the board pays for the autograph.
Oh, okay. Like some places they're like, buy the board, and then you also gotta pay for the autograph. I'm like,
yeah. I met Dan Folger while I was there as well, who he's famously recently, and the latest Harry Potter movie, Fantastic Beasts, and Where to Find Them. But I knew him before that. He was in Balls of Fury. He's the main character in Balls of Fury, and he's directed and starred in a film.
Fury, is that the one with like the tennis? No,
Yeah,
that's table tennis. Yeah, ping pong.
Ping pong.
With Christopher Walken.
Yeah, he plays the main character in that.
Maggie Q. Damn, Maggie Q was fun.
Yeah,
But
she was. Way back when.
when? Still, bro.
I don't know.
Ah, man, still. She was on a show that got canceled. It was on CBS.
Oh
called,
yeah, nice.
Stalker.
Sounds like she's doing really well, dude.
It was called. So come on, the majority of shows that come out always get
I
canceled.
can't see. Yeah.
That's true.
There was called a show called Stalker. She was like it was like an LA show where it was like a division of the LAPD or something like that that specified
Stalked people.
and stalkers, like stalker cases.
Oh, interesting.
And then
That's a very niche market. Like I don't know if I'd watch that show. It's like they're in the LAPD,
actually, I liked
special
it.
crimes. Like, oh, what do they investigate? Stalkers.
Yeah.
They follow people who are following you.
exactly.
Bum,
So
bum,
like
bum.
it was a guy who was what's his name from The Practice.
From the practice.
He was also in no, was he in?
I know who you're talking about.
This guy's name.
From the fact.
From The Practice, the most handsome guy in the freaking Practice.
Isn't he also in The Mentalist? Was that the same guy?
No, that was
not The
him.
Mentalist.
There's a bunch of other movies I can mention him in, but I just can't remember his name, and I'm too lazy to look at my phone right now.
Yeah, true.
But he was like a transfer cop from somewhere, and then he was kind of sort of a stalker, but like he changed his ways. And then Maggie Hughes' character had a stalker while she was, investigating other stalkers.
Weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I liked it. I liked
Yeah,
it, but
it
it didn't make it after that first season.
Yeah.
So
Wow. I'm not surprised why people wouldn't watch that show. It sounds like a show that only you liked. Like they had one view.
like I could watch pretty much everything except for Shadowhunters. Oh my god, it's
Shadowhunters.
such a horrible show.
Yeah. I have not seen any of it.
Yeah. So anyway, Maggie Hughes is still hot.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Sure. I'll give it to you. I'm
Stand
not
by
gonna
that.
I'm not gonna Google pictures of her right now, and that's weird. Like to do on a podcast, like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we kind of.
She looks okay though.
yeah, yeah, and then all of a sudden you become a stalker.
Oh my god. What,
From
life
podcasting
imitating
to
art.
stalking.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Juan, what are you watching on TV right now?
Right now, Flash,
Flash. Okay.
Arrow. we
That's
just
right. I
started
came
tonight.
back. Arrow starts tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
Cause Arrow started like last week or something like
no,
that, right?
Flash started last week.
A Flash. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Arrow tonight, Flash again tomorrow, and what was the other one? No, I just finished catching up with House of Cards.
House of
So that's
Cards.
what- yeah.
I don't watch that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I watched
either.
half
I'm
the
just
first
trying to
season.
finish that
and I
whole
was like,
thing.
nah.
No, I understand. I've heard people absolutely love it. It was something
And
that was
I
on my
can't-
queue
it's
for a
kinda
while,
cool.
and after the Kevin Spacey thing, I have no interest now in watching
Yeah,
it
yeah,
really
definitely.
at all. But it is what it is. I
It's a
don't
shame
know.
because he was
It's-
such a good actor. Just it's a shame that he
He
turned
is.
out to be a piece of shit
Yeah.
person.
Right, but it taints everything he's ever done. I think like
Yeah,
it's
it
hard, it's
definitely
hard, it's
does.
really hard for me to watch anything with Kevin Spacey's in and be like, oh, this is fantastic. Because I'm
Because
just kind of like.
I
That being said, though, if
still
you were
love-
into the show before this all came out, I would probably still
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
finish the show because you're into
That's
the
what
show.
I'm saying. It's gonna end anyway this year. I think the next season comes next week.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah?
it's
Set
gonna
up.
end like
Man,
without him. So I'm just gonna finish it up.
it's a busy season, man.
Yeah.
It's been so many TV shows have been coming out left and right. I caught up on BoJack Horseman. As a,
Art is so good. I haven't watched it yet.
yeah, no, it's fantastic. It probably is my favorite season so far.
Though. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. It's absolutely insane. Like it really gets into like the mania of a celebrity. I won't spoil it for you. Anyways, if you haven't seen the new season of BoJack Horseman, definitely check it out. It's worth it. But yeah, I mean, I tried to get into like Arrow and Flash like early on. I watched I think the first 2 seasons of Arrow, but I just dropped off. I don't know. There's something weird about that CW stuff for me. Like it feels. It leaves a weird taste in my mouth. I have to admit.
No,
And although I like Arrow, like I like that character. I like the Green Arrow.
I like that character, but maybe I don't know. Have you read the comics and all that stuff?
Maybe
that's one
I've
of your
read
things.
Kevin Smith's Green Arrow. Yeah, because I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. So
Maybe I don't know because I started watching the series without any knowledge of the comics. So maybe
me
it's
neither.
different.
That's where I started.
Yeah,
off.
I'm trying to think when I read Kevin Smith's comic, and then It was a graphic novel, I think.
And then I started reading the comic, which is it's different.
It is.
Like the graphic novels about Arrow and stuff, but
I will say about Arrow, I think what turned me off of the show is I was talking to somebody about Arrow, and I don't even remember who it was. It was someone at a bar in college or something, and like I told them about Arrow, and I think he responded. He was like, "That show sucks," and I was like, "No, it's actually pretty good." Like this is while I was watching the first 2 seasons. Still, I was like, "There's things I like about it, yada yada yada," and he was like, "Nah, it's like Batman but worse." And I was like,
"Oh," and then like supposed to be a Batman like counterpart,
right? But now let me tell you, the next day I was watching Arrow. And I finished the episode, and I said, "Wow, it's like Batman, but worse."
I mean, he even has an Arrow cave in the book.
Yeah.
I remember, I forgot what it was.
I think I wouldn't watch The Dark Knight right after, because I was like, I just need to watch Batman, I guess.
I remember it was like, I forgot what book it was. I think like Arrow takes a villain back to the Arrow cave. And then he's like, and the girl, I think it was a female. She was like, "Oh, what is this? This is my Arrow cave." She was like, "Wouldn't it be better to just call it your quiver? Because this is where you hang up your arrows." He was like, "Shut up."
Yeah, whatever. Relax.
Like, shut up with your good ideas.
But
it's the Arrow cave.
This is how I follow. I follow like the Marvel's movies for me.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. I love them.
DC series for me.
It's too dark, too gritty
than the Marvels.
Right. I mean,
that's how I follow the.
And DC has been messing up with their movies because they do things that don't make sense.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
There's just no character development. I don't think, man. Like I think Superman is pretty developed,
but I think
especially in Batman vs Superman, there was no character development. Especially for Batman when that's his first appearance into the DC universe.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's like at least Superman had Man of Steel on his back for that character development, and I will always say that Man of Steel is not that bad of a movie. People shit on that movie.
I just didn't like.
I don't know why. Man of Steel.
I think I like the story though.
The story was pretty good. It's just that ending for me was just like super anti-Superman.
Right, but that's not. I don't think that's the film's fault. That's the tie-in's fault. It's because they're trying to tie it into this Batman vs Superman thing. Because that's the catalyst for the conflict in Batman vs Superman between Batman.
I think that's the key. Marvel has that structure for other movies that it's so beautiful.
It flows very well.
But then DC is like trying to patch stuff that's not there. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, Marvel just also just surprised everybody with Infinity War because everybody watched Infinity War and they were like, "Oh my god, this is part 1." Like we've just been leading up for years to part 1. So this is where the story starts.
There's the tease of the Gauntlet and the tease of Thanos and just the teases of everything and it's everything coming together.
Yeah, into not a finale like everybody expected though. I think everybody expected boom, this is gonna be some sort of ending to something or some sort of finale, but then it was no, this is the beginning of everything. It was going to be
a 2-parter from the beginning, so.
I think it's going to be more than 2 parts.
Well, the next one is going to be the finale of Infinity Wars, but
right.
Because money talk, man.
Hell
yeah, it's true.
Exactly.
No, and they're making a lot of money, and I'll pay to see them. I mean, I enjoyed
exactly.
it.
Yeah, me too. It was very good.
I had the.
Like I said, I haven't read the comics, so people see it different. But for me, the movie was great.
Oh no, it was great, and I think even in comparison to the comics, it was pretty fantastic. I mean, I'm trying to think of. Yeah, I don't know. I think that in the comics maybe the humor plays different, but it's still there. Mm-hmm. I mean, with Marvel in general, frankly, it's I think it's a change in medium, the change in platform. Marvel's movies, I think, are just more slapstick humor, one-liners, more, I don't know, easily accessible humor, maybe.
Yeah, sometimes I just don't like how the movies influence the books. Or it just forces a change within the universe itself. I told Demetrius this more than once, I don't like that they turned Iceman gay.
Oh, you mean like in the what's his name, Aaron Taylor Johnson character, the Iceman?
Yeah, like Iceman now. I mean, hasn't influenced the movies at all.
Is he gay in the movies?
No, he's not. He's not. But it just seems like they're doing things to make, and I don't know what it is. It just changes things up for no reason, I think. And I mean,
Weird.
This Bobby Drake has been a ladies' man for all his creation, and all of a sudden they just make him gay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like.
Maybe that they forcing something there, right? So
Yeah. For me, it just feels forced.
Sure.
Instead of more fluid.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. Like, of course, I mean, I'm all for, gay LGBTQ empowered superheroes or whatever, but also if you're it goes into messing with the source material is what's the problem.
Exactly.
And like when you play around with too much of the source material, then it can come off.
For me, it would have been better if like within a couple of issues, you just put some statements or actions that are like, that this is out of place,
right?
And just build on that and then turn them.
Yeah.
That would make more sense to me.
Right. And
it was just like, oh, I'm gay one day. I'm like, what?
Yeah, exactly. No, totally. If you want to do that, you need to put in the time and respect it deserves to do that, to sort of have the character explore that side of themselves.
And it would be more relatable because it's not like, I'm like...
Exactly. No one has ever come out of the closet that way. Like,
and
totally. It's a long and sort of weird and scary process, I'm sure, for a lot of people. And so, you know, if you're going to write that character, then write it right, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And then, like I was saying, the movies influencing the books is... the Inhumans became more of a platform in the books.
Yeah.
Since Marvel didn't have the rights to the mutants. So no X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force.
Right.
So, and then, it always gets a bad review every time when Fox. It's Fox, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It has the rights to Marvel. Every time Fox comes out with a Marvel movie, it's like...
Well, no, wait. So
I'll go see it because I'm a nerd. But it's kind of like...
Right? Sony had them rights.
No, I think Sony has rights to Spider-Man.
Just Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and Venom. I'm looking at this Venom poster right here. That's why I thought of it. You're like, Fox. I was like, maybe Sony. I don't know.
No, Fox has... Fox, because The Gifted is on Fox.
But didn't they kind of get the rights back or something like that?
It's because they bought... Disney bought Fox.
Okay.
But they had to make a deal because Fox was like, if you want to buy the studio rights back, you have to buy all of this back. So like Fox News, no, I don't think Fox News, but like Fox Sports and Fox this, that, and the other.
Sure, or any Fox original series, anything like that.
Yeah,
like
so
all the creative.
And then the government always has to get along. When you get there,
Get their hands.
you just make sure there's not a monopoly.
Yeah.
So the government was like, okay, we'll let you buy them, but you have to promise to sell off everything else that you bought. So they'll buy Fox Studios along with like Fox Sports and Fox this and Fox that, Fox that and the other. So they'll keep studios and they'll just sell everything else off.
Streaming rights in general and like the rights to properties is insane in this industry. It's like crazy because like even like it's like with this new Venom movie too. It's like Sony still owns kind of Spider-Man, I guess, because they just made their own Venom movie that will never ever meet Tom Holland because of the rights. Who owns what?
Yeah, I don't know the detail of that deal is, but it kind of seems like
he's on
shared rights with Spider-Man.
He's on loan, I guess, is technically what it is. Like Sony loaned him to Disney to make Marvel. So I don't know. I bet Sony's hoping that Spider-Man stays dust after Infinity War.
They already. I follow. What's his name? The one that plays Spider-Man.
Tom Holland.
Not Tom Holland. He plays Venom. The one that plays Spider-Man. What's his name?
No, that's Tom Holland. That's Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Tom Hardy and then Holland.
I just heard Tom.
Yeah, that is confusing. Yeah, no, I hear you.
But Tom Holland. I follow him on Instagram, and he's already he's in Europe now. They're probably wrapped up already, or
I think it's wrapped already. I know he's got his third film coming out still.
Yeah, so it's they already announced that the name of the next Spider-Man movie. So Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh yes, I saw that.
So and it's still connected to the Marvel universe. So it's kind of like a shared project between Sony and Marvel.
I'm curious about it. I wonder when it's gonna take place. Because it's slated for before Infinity War Part 2, right?
I think it's after.
Is it after?
I believe.
Okay, so maybe it's when some people come back or whatever.
It's already not. People are coming back. That's what I'm saying. People. Are coming back.
I know. I just wish they wouldn't. Though, like, it's just like I know because listen, like it's like they made this huge dramatic thing. It's like all these people are gone now. Like
No,
boom.
they need to
like
bring
they
back
dropped the mic. Imagine this, like a movie drops the mic, and then like 10 minutes later, like the guy comes back on stage. He's like, I'm just gonna pick that back up. Bye. Like it's like you can't. It's not the same effect as when you drop the mic and walk out of the building.
It's a comic movie. When people die in comics, they never stay dead forever.
Never.
I don't know. I just wish they were dead.
Because they brought back Jean Grey.
Yeah.
They just
Juan's getting all upset.
It was like
over here.
earlier this year or late last year. They brought back Jean Grey. Jean Grey has been dead for years now.
Yeah, but Jean Grey has died.
She's
like
back.
So many
Cyclops
times,
is dead
dude.
now.
Is Cyclops dead now?
He's dead-ish.
Yeah.
Where
Trying to be dead.
Or they just have the younger him from an earlier timeline come to the present.
Yeah.
So he's still around, but the older him from
Yeah,
present time is dead.
Okay.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's
How is that?
Is this in the comics or the cinematic?
This is
universe?
no, this is the comics. In the comics, the original X-Men, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, and Angel, they come from the past to the present. So they're still teenagers.
Days of Future Present.
Something like that,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then they're around. Oh, and Iceman. Before I leave him out. So they're around, and now there's Jean Grey. She just came back to life. So there's two Jean Greys, young and old, and then Rachel Summers, who is, if I remember correctly, now she's like an alternate future daughter of Jean Grey.
Oh, wow.
Jeez
So there's
Louise.
there's mother and daughter. So it's weird. And then there's young Cyclops, and then old Cyclops, who's dead now.
Comics are fucking weird, dude.
It's
Jesus
weird, super
Christ.
convoluted, but
That's the beauty
what
of
they
it,
do
though. When
with
you-
the
when you-
story,
yeah,
it's
when you
good.
look at the story and the flow, yeah.
It's wild, man. It's wild.
It's amazing, but it's ups and downs.
There you go. Alrighty. Well, listen, we should probably wrap it up. Listen, Juan, thanks so much for coming on, man. Talking about
Yes.
your book and stuff. Keep an eye out for Juan's book. Definitely check it out online. Absolutely stellar read. Worth the time. Demetrius is sneaking by on the camera now. And as we're wrapping up, I'm going to promote some things for the shop here, Demetrius. Remind me, we got Magic Fridays, drink and draws last Tuesday of every month. On Sundays, we got drawing lessons for kids. Yeah, that's it. You got it. I got it. Hey. I did it right for once. Alrighty, and listen, thanks Angel for coming on as well. The Birthday Boy Part 2 returns. So we'll definitely have you guys both on at
If
some
you
point.
want, you catch me on Instagram. It's Duran, EL_Duran, DURAN 452.
Yeah,
on
check
Instagram.
out pictures of his cat. And
I don't like
he
cats.
doesn't like cats.
The dog, then.
They're scary as hell. Anyway,
There you
that's
go.
my stuff.
Alrighty,
Yeah,
thanks guys.
All right, thank you.
Oh no.
What happened?
Let's see how much recorded.
Oh, it stopped?